today of Black Westchester Magazine, also a good guy, friend. Please welcome Damon Jones. Good morning, sir.
Hey, good morning, Bob. How you doing?
Pretty good. Now, before you came on, did you hear me talking with the woman that owns 3 funeral homes?
Yes.
Did I tell you? See, now, I shouldn't tell you this because you are a law enforcement officer. But she's so beautiful, I was tempted to choke my uncle the other day and drag him in there. Look, I got a death in the family. Let's have coffee. Maybe a drink, wine.
There'd be a rash of killings throughout Westchester.
That's right. I didn't think about that.
Turn into a serial killer.
I need a handle, like there was a Zodiac killer, the Radio Man. Anyway, welcome to the program.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, it's always a pleasure. But I know we have to get into the serious business. We had the mayor on yesterday. We had Andre Wallace today as a member of the press. Although I was surprised yesterday when we had the mayor on. I don't know if you were listening.
Yeah, I caught.
And we prepared a track. It got cut off. We'll get you the full interview
right.
to you in an MP3 file. But he did mention you as someone almost as an adversary, and that surprised me. Usually you don't point that out. He mentioned you. It wasn't in a very pejorative way, but there are people, Damon Jones, blah, blah, blah. And what is your response to that? As a member of the press, I'm always leery when people say about the press that you're on the other side, if you will.
Well, my issue, I am the publisher of Black Westchester Magazine, but I'm also the New York representative of Blacks in Law Enforcement of America, I think. And I've been doing that longer than...
A lot longer.
And my issues are with the police department. And if I live in a community and I don't speak out, I speak out all over the country.
I know you do.
I become a hypocrite, and I am not one of those. I've spoken out against Clinton Young when I felt that the police department was going in the wrong direction, and I supported him. I've spoken out against Ernie Davis when I felt the police department was going in a wrong direction.
So you don't pick your fights.
And I supported him. And I will speak out against Richard Thomas when I feel that the police department is going in the wrong direction. And so, I don't know, why he feels that Mr. Cavallo or anybody else is behind me to discuss these issues. I have a long track record in discussing these issues. Anybody can Google me or look me up, and people that have known me throughout social media knows these are the stances that I have consistently standed on, and the values and the norms of being a law enforcement officer for 26 years. When you have a criminal element in your police department, it needs to be eradicated.
Okay, let's go there.
Criminal
element. Who or what dynamic are we speaking of?
We're speaking of both deputy commissioners, not just Joseph Spezio.
Who's the other one?
Commissioner Fatigate. Now, Richard Thomas stated that he fired Kelly for committing a crime.
Yes.
He should also fire Commissioner Fatigate, acting police, for committing a crime because he wrote a false statement. The statement that was issued about the confrontation between Councilman Andre Wallace, and alleged, I'm going to call him alleged, Deputy Police Commissioner Joseph Spezio, was a lie. When you take their statement and you listen to the audio and you watch the video, they lied.
That audio and video has gone viral.
And that is a crime. Law enforcement officers are no different than civilians. When you give a false report or you make a false statement in court, you could be held accountable, and charges should be brought against you.
Now, on the other side of that ledger, do we know, is there proof that the former police commissioner altered those police reports having to do with Andre Wallace's, and we'll call it apprehension now because is he a person of interest or a suspect? Is that a crime to alter a police report?
Well, look, an officer can do a report, and usually there's also a space on the report where the acting supervisor can amend the report or put a statement on the report. Amending the report is not a crime because the actual officer's report is not changed. Now, you can put an amendment on it, but the officer's report is still intact. Now,
I
each
see. So in
department.
other words, you could put an amendment, but you like with the Constitution, but you can't change it as well.
Right. Now, each police department is different on how they do it. And even in corrections where I work, they have to attach it on to the original report. So it's not a crime. I guess because he just didn't do what the mayor wanted him to do. And like Mr. Fatigate, they put out a false report, a complete false report on Councilman Wallace.
Let's go to this entire debate between Mr. Wallace, the mayor, and Councilman Wallace, and Mayor Thomas. What is fundamentally at odds here, and how do we ever get the city council, which I've always viewed as somewhat resistant, doesn't mean that I'm right, but when Richard came in, they seemed to stiffen their spines, and then Richard challenged them a lot. What's the fundamental issue there?
I think the fundamental issue is fear. The fundamental issue is that Councilman Wallace does not need to be a politician, and he's pushing rules and regulations of the city. As you see, the Thomas administration has thrown the rules and regulations and the city charter totally out of the window.
And yet they say they're not, by the way. I know you've heard that. But
well, they can say they can say what they want, but their actions prove differently. Their actions prove differently. So when you have a man that walks around with a badge and then did not go to the actual process of being a law enforcement officer, he could say he's a civilian or not, but he's carrying a badge, and with that badge comes the license to kill and use deadly force. With that gold badge, no one will question him.
Is he armed, do you know?
We don't know. No one will question him in another city when he pulls out that badge. They're going to see Deputy Police Commissioner.
Let's go to the issue of Cavallo. I hadn't heard his name till it came up the other day when the mayor was here.
Mm-hmm.
And I know him, what I know about him from covering the press is he represents this so-called independent party. He is, I've heard, I can't, that it really is more about money than it is about any kind of philosophy or ideology. I know he supported Democrats, he supported Republicans, he supported conservatives, he supported liberals. What's that all about? What's that out?
Well, the Independence Party is a political party, and trust me, it is not about money.
Okay, well, I don't know.
There's no. I mean, with a small party like that, you do not generate the funds as the larger party. So. It's really it's not about money.
What's it about? I met Mr.
It's
nice enough fellow.
It's an alternative to the two major parties. Just no different than the Green Party or the Women's Equality Party.
No, but those two parties have an ideology. Does his?
Yes. The ideology is fair government. The ideology is for government officials to act within the law. That's why they've broken away. And the history of the Independence Party goes all the way back to Ross Perot. So it's not a scam. You have over 3 million independents in New York State. You have over 30.
Head of the state party?
No, he's not a head of the state. No, he's just head of Westchester.
I'm trying to get him on. See if I can get him on the air. Give him a chance.
Is a fabricated lie by the mayor, prompted by his puppet master, Joseph Spezio.
Okay, thank you very much, Damon Jones. We'll come and say goodbye in a minute. We got to go to break.
Station 1460 WVOX and WVIP HD2, New Rochelle.
Fox News Radio. I'm Anthony. He's still trying.